People now have been looking at service standards, how they treat the customer, following procedures to make sure they do the same thing all the time the right way. So we have put in a straitjacket but forced us to do the same thing the right way all the time. With ISO 9001 certification, it forces us to tell our customers what we're doing and how we're doing it, and open up our books and our operations. So now we have to show them what we do, and then we have to do what we say we have in our manuals. So we are being forced to work along our timelines. If something's supposed to take 45 days, we have to make sure it takes 45 days. We deal with the public. We have an appeals process. It is supposed to take 90 days. The public now knows, so we have to deliver. As a government entity, bottom line doesn't count really, but the OUR does not make a profit. Our job is to recoup costs to do our business. So if we have costed our operations based on how long we're going to take to do things. So we have basically kept our costs within what our budget figures are supposed to be. So we haven't had any complaints from our licensees who pay our fees. One, it forces an organization to start thinking about how they do things and what their customers require and how they're going to satisfy the customer needs. But in the bigger picture, you want to be a world-class entity of any kind. ISO is what you use across the world to identify world-class companies. And what we found is that since we have now been certified, numerous persons are calling us as probably one of the first utility regulators to be certified about how we did it. So we're getting feedback, kudos from persons to say, yes, how you did it, and we'd like to follow your footsteps. ISO certification says the customer is who you're there to satisfy. And when we first started, we had a question as to who was the OUR customer? Our customer is all of Jamaica. So how do we satisfy all of Jamaica? And that forced to rethink, not just thinking about satisfying utility companies, you have to satisfy their customers who are our customers. So it's a rethink of how we look at things. We have been implementing things like every time a customer comes in to put an appeal against a utility company, we have measured how long it takes us for the customer to sit down, how long it takes us to have the customer stay with a rep, how long do they stay in the organization, what is the feedback from the customer after. So we are now measuring all parts of just when a person walks to the front door to the person leaves. So we're now measuring things and being able to report on our performance based on that. As a country, if we want to move forward, we can't keep looking outside, we have to look inside. We have to make sure our persons here are equipped to deliver service here and abroad. And I mean, as a country, I don't see why we have to look outside for something that is not, we're not sending somebody to the moon. We're just seeing how companies performing within the Jamaican context. So I would recommend NCBJ anytime, anywhere.
We've come in from a tradition where we were undocumented. A lot of our process, there was no written procedures, no working instruction. Now with the ISO, what it forces us to do is to implement our procedures and work instruction as to guide persons as to this is what you're going to do on a day-to-day basis. And with that, persons know what they are going to do, not just today, not just tomorrow, but we continue on that path. For our business operation, it has improved our business operation in the fact that of our processes and how we go about doing our production. We are now able to trace everything from start to finish. So in case there is a problem, we know where to go to the source of these problems. Our bottom line, we have seen increases. We are able to save by implementing the ISO, and I would recommend persons to put it in on the basis that with an quality management system, it is quality right throughout the organization, not just focusing on your outputs, but also from your inputs. So you get to trace everything that you do. So you know where the minute something goes wrong, you know where to pinpoint that. The certification is a worldwide standard. It speaks publicly that yes, your company is performing or operating at a world-class level. And that's something I think is exceptional to any company we certified. So I would recommend it. We're looking at efficiency. Our process from start to finish is a lot more efficient. You can trace your stuff. Customer confident. Customers are more confident. It gets your staff involved from top management to come all the way down. Everybody is involved in the process. I mean, with everybody working towards the common goal, I think that is a good thing to get the customer satisfaction and exceed their expectations. It has improved on our customer service. What we now do, we have a customer complaint process. Well, once we get a customer complaint, we try to assess that and deliver a result in 7 working days. So it has increased, it has improved our customer service a lot. The NCBJ is a local entity, and I believe we as a company believe in supporting our local entities. I mean, it is quality. The quality of service is at a world standard, and for that I will recommend them.
M&A strategy and advisory. Are you planning for a merger or acquisition M&A transaction? The decision to embark upon an M&A transaction is not one to be taken lightly. Whether pursuing a merger or acquisition or considering a disposal or divestiture, the complexities of an M&A transaction require careful planning and execution. Dorgan Global works with clients ranging from corporates and privately owned companies to private equity and management teams. We advise on all aspects of M&A strategy, planning and deal execution, and provide access to an international team of professionals, in-depth industry knowledge and local market insight. Clients can depend on our specialist teams to lead or support transactions requiring specific expertise on issues including business modeling, fast-track M&A, economic consulting, and government public sector advice. With deep experience, knowledge and tools, Dorgan Global delivers insights and advice that can help clients avoid the many pitfalls of complex deals and benefit from an M&A transaction that can meet stakeholder targets and expectations. Dorgan Global consulting teams can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dorgan.global. Website www.dorgan.global.
We offer ISO 9001 certification to companies in Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. And basically, this 9001 standard is really customer focused. And so the benefits of implementing an ISO system in your company would basically be to improve efficiency, to improve the way you address your customers' needs, to provide quality products and services. The National Certification Body is an independent unit of the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, and we provide management system certifications to companies. I think it is important for companies to implement a management system and to receive certification, because it shows persons out there, your customers, Jamaica, that you are actually able to provide a quality product and service, and they can have confidence in your product. I would recommend NCBJ because we provide affordable management system certification to companies. We are internationally accredited, and so if you're certified by us, you are able to trade worldwide with this certification.
Since the National Health Fund received ISO 9001 certification in February 2005, it really has been a very rewarding experience for the company. We've been able to really define clearly what our key business processes are and use that in really improving the delivery of services to our customers. The operations of the NHF really have improved significantly with this certification. We've been able to review our gaps in the operations of the organization and commit to continuous improvement. Our staff members have really gotten better at analyzing their processes, looking at the risks the company faces, and really make decisions in the best interest of the customers who really matter to us. The business we're in is health, and all our surveys indicate that there's extremely high customer satisfaction with the National Health Fund. In fact, our last survey reflected a 95% customer satisfaction. This by no means leads to us ignoring the 5% because we use that to drive what ISO refers to as continuous improvement. And this 5% is what we now look at to say, how do we get better? How do we improve our processes every year? ISO 9001 really assists an organization in really analyzing what you are to focus on. In essence, we start by looking at the customer, we look at our processes, and it allows you for continuous assessment of where you are versus where you need to be. And I think that is important in any business because the ultimate outcome is for you to achieve your mandate. So in the scheme of things where health of the nation is important, I think for the NHF it was critical that we do this. And whatever your line of business is something that we would recommend for all organizations because it does allow you for that deep assessment of your business and your processes. The benefits is that it really allows management, it allows employees to be in tune with what really matters in terms of core processes. Many organizations function by looking at outcomes, but employees don't get deeply involved in looking at operations. I think a key part of this ISO certification is that it allows staff participation in defining processes, it allows for training, and it allows for reviews. We do 2 management reviews every year as to outcomes and key processes, and this really allows our staff to look at how we are performing and allows for that key assessment as we move into what we do at the NHF in terms of striving to make Jamaica a healthy place. I think that has been one of the big wins for the NHF. It has helped us to clearly define what our service standards are and to measure and manage those. It has also helped us to assess where things are not good and help us develop winning strategies to meet the needs of our customers and not only meet but exceed those needs where this is possible. The NCBJ has been a critical partner, and it's easy for us to recommend them because in essence it's a local certification body. It makes a huge difference because we have easy access to the key partners there. They give us key and critical feedback and really help us in assessing our risk and planning our strategies. So through their audits, we're able to get better at what we do, and I really recommend and also congratulate them on being a really professional and competent organization.
Through the process of getting the certification, it may make us go back to what we used to do, to be very data-driven people and focus on what our customer is expecting from us. And for us, Windalco is just not the whole refinery yet. It's just a small part of the refinery that is certified, which is under the technical department. And so far, we are seeing some improvement. Just the lab, which was certified in Windalco, which is a small department within technical department. But during the certification period, it allows us to interact with all departments for the refinery. So it will take us from being silo type of management to inter-department, like we had to do with all departments for the plant. And also during the certification period, we had to train a lot of internal auditors. So it makes us to make a lot of people in the plant aware of quality and understand that our objective is to be focused on our quality. At my department level, the main objective of the lab are two. One is to support the plant, give us support in terms of quality analysis, and one is to certify all the shipment we sell overseas. And I can see since we get certified, also it gives us the processes. And three things that came from the certification are very continuous improvement, okay? They are customer certification oriented, and also they are more data driven, and also we focus on eliminating waste, which can cause, if you have too much waste in the problem, it makes you not repeatable and your product quality is affected by that. So personally, I would recommend all certification because it gives you standard procedures and systems, and it will help you improve continuously every day. And even if you lose people, there's a system in place that can make sure things continue moving. In terms of product quality of the product we provide to the refinery, that improved a lot. Like we went from we kind of double the amount of data we give out to the plant, and those data now, when they are not correct, you can track who made the errors and things like that. So those type of things help us improve and stabilize the refinery. We are audited twice, and then I did find them very professional. They did give us their feedback and explain the process, how the process work. I found them very professional. And I found them, with my background, who have been traveling a lot, they were as good as any other international body that have met about auditing or things like that.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
We have been at it for about 10 years, and I can sum it up in one word: confidence, building confidence. Because the way the standards are structured, it allows you to look at yourself, at your processes, at your procedures, and work to improve. It's constantly making it better. And we have been at it for 10 years, and so it's almost like a part of us now to keep looking inwards and also looking outward at what our customer requires. Whatever our customer requires, we have to build it in so that we give to our customer what they need at a quality that they need it in. Because if you don't have your customers working, if you don't work towards your customers' requirement, then you know you're out of business. Right? So we always have to be looking in ourselves, looking at what our customer needs, and making our processes and procedures work for us and our customers. At first, we started to say we were working in almost like silos. We have several processes because we work with certification. I'm part of the Heart Trust NTA that is entitled to provide certification to persons who are trained. And our duty is to ensure that all the processes that goes into certification of those persons, the building of standards for the curriculum that they use, the assessment instruments, and the actual certificate, all those processes must work together. So it created for us an opportunity, the standards created for us an opportunity to meld those processes together so they're interacting, because it makes no sense to be working in silos. You waste time, you waste processes, you waste money. So the integration of these processes allowed us to work together to make the customer satisfied and make our work easier. As an entity that is part of government, because we're under the Ministry of Education, we're not really profit-making, but it has helped us to recoup costs based on the fees that we pay. So we don't work towards profit actually, but we have to recover costs. And to some extent, we recover some costs, but we maintain the fees so that they're affordable to our clients. So in a sense, the efficiencies that we have gained over this interaction of melding the activities together and interacting and reducing the waste, that has created an efficiency that has made us better able to do what we need to do effectively. Well, as I said, it's confidence building. It builds your confidence that you are doing what you need to do at an international standard. Because the standards itself speak to what international bodies require that do, well, what we do as well as anybody else to do. International standard, the management system you use, if you work with the ISO standard, it tells you what is expected of you internationally. So if you can comply, it means that you're running with the big boys out there, right? So if you can comply with the procedures and the requirements that they have put in place in the standard, then naturally you can say you have the confidence, both internal, your own confidence, but the confidence of your stakeholders that you are operating the way you should internationally. Benefits are many, chief among which is that you bring your workers together. Everybody is in on this, right? Everybody wants to be a part of it because they know what they can get out of it. If you can bring all parties within your organization to buy into the certification, to the requirements of the standard, then they work together and you find there's a better interaction, there's better profits, in a sense profit in that you're seeing what you're giving to your client, and you're able to say, yes, my client is satisfied with what I'm doing, so I am satisfied with what I am doing. And we're always looking, as I said, into ourselves, so we're continuously looking at the procedures that we do. Every year, we have a rotation of the procedures. We look at the procedures, we examine them. Are they still doing what we want them to do? Are they still meeting our requirements? Are they still doing exactly what we say they are doing? And in doing that, everybody is involved. It's not just a one man, it's not just a manager or the senior director doing it. Everybody's a part of it. So that the standards really help you to involve everybody as part of your team. Our customer service has gone through the roof because we accept the fact that our customers are who we are working for. Although we provide certification, you have to be competent before you're certified. That's not the point. The point is, do you give to the customer the kind of service that they require? If they come to us, are we able to tell them, yes, within this timeline you can get this, the response to this request. Within this, you can get what you need. So they know exactly what they want. We follow up with them, ensure that we get what they actually require. I mean, sometimes our customers come to us and they don't really know what they want. But what do? We have to know what they may need so we are able to interact with them. So that interaction has really brought us to a point where we love our customers and our customers love us. We were with an overseas company when we started because they were NCBJ. In the last 3 or 4 years we went over. And it didn't take me long to decide that yes, I wanted to leave the overseas company and go with NCBJ because I saw the development of the NCBJ. I saw what they could do. I observed them for about a year or so before I made the decision. And it wasn't hard to make the decision. The way they responded to my request, the way they allowed me to get information from them, the processes that they have, how they interacted with other companies, all of that I investigated before going over, and I was very, very satisfied. And since then, the audits that they do with us, I don't see a difference between what they do and what the foreign company was doing. The only difference is that I don't have to pay so much foreign exchange. And I think I'm supremely satisfied with their performance. So I would recommend them to anyone.
Mitsubishi Motors.
Our collective histories are often captured on film, video, audio, or digital formats, and through these, we engage to learn about the past and to share our own histories with future generations. Today, we join other countries in observance of World Day for Audiovisual Heritage, under the theme, Engage the Past Through Sound and Images. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. Stay tuned.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
Music is an important part of our history, and it's through music that many of our stories have been told. Today we take you on a musical journey into the world of reggae.
From deep within the archives on reels no longer supported by the platforms of a technological modernization in the transmission of sounds and images, comes the story of a people and their relationship with the music they have bred.
Reggae! Reggae! Reggae music is bass, brother. Yes, sir. Reggae music is roots. Not the dread. Yes, sir. Is our kind of music that, brother? What me say?
If reggae can ever be edged to a set place, then 13 Brentford Road is its home. It was here at Studio One in 1968 that Rocksteady briefly went back 20 years, married the folk rhythms of Mento, and gave birth to reggae.
The new art form experienced its share of birthing pains as the so-called elites of society struggled to accept its revolutionary presence, while those from whose experiences it sprung cleaved onto this evolution in expression.
Reggae music is something that I think most of our people are ashamed of. I don't know why this should be, because it is coming from our roots. So much people are naked like them shame.
I agree. Truly. Sure, them just shame what truly belongs to them. What me say?
That's what we steal sometimes, do I?
Truly.
Well, I think that the rhythm is very good, and we like it a lot in Jamaica here.
As myself coming from New York, I only thought that I would dig soul music, just, you know, funky music. But as I hear the reggae scene, reggae music, I like it.
I like reggae music very much because, right, it shows a lot of culture, right? It tells from the plantation days, the type of music the people used to sing, right? And it started to reveal what really was going on in that time, right? Up till now, right?
It's something you can't just sit down and listen to. You have, you know, you get the feeling to move.
Reggae music is our high-style music. Same way like how soul music belongs to CS, reggae music belongs to J. And my favorite artist are Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Probably because it's part of me, you know, and we create it. I don't know, but I think I enjoy playing reggae very much.
I really dig reggae music, but whenever time I hear reggae music, I feel like dancing, you know?
I'm in a dancing mood.
Generations later, and the narrative retains echoes of past sentiments with the addition of new layers.
Reggae change, I can't say like it changed a bit, you know, but still reggae beat. The old one is better, the new one not much to me. I just love the old stuff.
When I'm working, I listen to my music, keep me going, you know.
If me go dance on them music then I'm play, me not really stay there.
It means everything. It's a part of Jamaicans' history, so it defines who we are as Jamaicans.
It means everything. It means love, it means peace, it means understanding.
Reggae is a lifestyle. Reggae is a lifestyle, you know, Jamaican lifestyle. Yeah, even the lifestyle where you live, because even they tell you in the farm, you know, you work hard every day, hustle hard every day, and the music says reggae. So, reggae is life, man, you know?
Reggae has become what some prophesied, a few decried, and almost none could truly imagine.
Reggae is no longer seen in the world as alternative music or third world music or new wave music.
It's doing good. I think there are a lot of guys who make a lot of money from it, but it is good. I think maybe probably next to tourism.
People know Jamaica not only for our sand, sun and beach, but they know us for our music. So when you go abroad and people be like, you're from Jamaica, you know Bob Marley, you know such and such, all because of our music. So reggae is our definition of Jamaica.
It is the strongest component in the brand Jamaica construct.
Reggae artists and those who specialize in its offshoot dancehall have won major musical awards in life and past death, Its greatest ambassador retains an undeniable international presence that has demanded respect from world-renowned publications. Since 2009, the entire month of February has been dedicated to its celebration at home. It was instrumental in garnering capital Kingston the designation by UNESCO as a creative city of music. And in 2017, the Jamaican government submitted a nomination dossier to have reggae inscribed on UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage for humanity.
This international protection instrument will ensure that the origins of reggae and its derivatives are appropriately documented and safeguarded for present and future generations. It is fascinating to reminisce on the early days when Jamaican music struggled to germinate, and the pioneers were classified in some cases as undesirables right here at home.
But even then, in its infancy,
well, I think that reggae is a good music here to stay, and I think reggae music belongs to us, and we ought to show it, right?
And now,
reggae is hot commodity and the world has embraced it, but we are proud to declare that we still own it.
Respect must be given whenever respect is due. One more time, let's give it up for Jamaica and reggae music.
Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come scam. Take time running, are we ready for the ops? Drive up on your block, step out now me block, cyber take about your laptop. Pull up every lock, no evidence to drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the underground. Sin you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. Please say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit. From you say scam, you better look out fit. When you move corrupt, better look out fit. Please say you get wet, look out fit. Look out fit, look out fit.
The proceeding was brought to you by MOCA, the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
We know about Bob Marley and his influence on society with his music. In Trenchtown is where he recorded hit songs and created many musical memories. Today, the Trenchtown Culture Yard is a designated heritage site. I feel like I'm giving away too much information at this point, so just watch this.
Some call it the Hollywood of Jamaica, while others refer to it as the cradle of Jamaica's music. This place is packed with history, and lucky for you, we will be exploring some of it today.
This culture is a museum, you know, and it's a history of Trenchtown. It have a whole lot of legacy in it.
Yes. The Culture Yard, which is situated at Lower First Street in Trenchtown, is one of the many houses built by the Central Housing Authority between 1940 and 1949. These government houses were built on 200 acres of land and subdivided to facilitate a residential community to be called Trenchtown.
Trenchtown itself, it was named after a person, and the name of that person is Daniel Power Trench. Daniel was born in Jamaica. His mother was Jamaican, but his father was an Irishman. So Daniel's father came to the Caribbean, basically, to the business, and he met this woman. They got married and had 14 children, and there comes Daniel. Greenwich Park Estate Land, that was the name of the estate that was owned by Mr. Trench. And what had happened was, before Daniel died, you know, he was born 1813, he died 1884, he actually left that land, the estate land, to last his family at least 99 years. And what had happened was, there was a huge earthquake in 1907 that had destroyed the estate land beyond repair. So later on, the land became a squatter settlement. You had persons who started to squat on the land, and afterwards now you find where the government came in and had asked the family to sell the land to them. So it was sold to the government, and that's when the government now divided the land in different areas.
On the land, the government built 4 different blocks of houses, namely H, S, T, and U block. On the U block is the Trenchtown Culture Yard. People travel from near and far to learn about the phenomenal history of Trenchtown and the successful people and musical bands it has produced, such as the Heptones, Abyssinians, and the Wailers. Within these walls, visitors also get to observe furnishing and instruments used by the musical icons who once lived here, including the great Bob Marley and his mentor and co-writer, Vincent Tata Ford.
So, Vincent Ford, this is all his writings on the wall. This is him. This is his furniture. This is his Bible.
It was in this space that the popular Bob Marley hit, No Woman No Cry, was penned. In this song, listeners are able to get a feel of some of his experiences while living here.
His first vehicle of what he owns, his first acoustic guitar, the single bed of what he sings about also is there. And there are many bits and pieces of Bob that is still here.
It's emotional.
After an emotional tour of the rooms and galleries, visitors get the chance to wander the courtyard, where they will find this fascinating statue of Bob. And this captivating mural of the culture tour. But the tour of the Culture Museum and Yard is just one of 3 tours available to visitors.
So normally we offer 3 different tours. The tour 1 is just inside the culture yard itself. You get a guided tour with one of our tour guides, and it's just a tour inside of the galleries. We offer a second tour. That tour takes you to where Bob Marley's mom lived when she came here in 1956 and Bob was only 11. So that house is basically not just Bob Marley's mother's house. It is also where Bunny Wailer lived. Because Bunny Wailer and Bob Marley, they were stepbrothers and they share the same home. We also have different craft shops in the area where somehow persons can make their own money. So the guides would walk with you there. There's also Trenchtown Ceramics, where the persons, they make ceramics out of our own Trenchtown clay. And at the end of that, it stops at the recording studio that we have in Trenchtown called the Jamming Studio. So there, persons, the guests get an experience of how the rhythms are made.
It's evident that the Culture Yard is a must-see for anyone who wants to learn more about Bob, Jamaican music, and the phenomenal evolution of Trenchtown. It's no wonder the site was declared Jamaica's first inner-city heritage site. The venue opens every day, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Mondays to Saturdays, and 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. To arrange your visit or guided tour, all you have to do is contact tour manager Sophia Doe at 876-859-6741.
Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this rich cultural experience.
Motorists, when driving on the road, here are some simple reminders. Look out for and extend courtesy to all road users. Give plenty of room to pedestrians, especially in wet weather. Drive slowly. No bother wet them up. Slow down when approaching a pedestrian crossing or school, and always be prepared to stop. Remember, a school zone is a 30-kilometer zone. Cut your speed. Drivers of large and slow-moving vehicles should always keep in the far left hand of a dual carriageway. Keep it simple. Drive left and pass right. These are just simple reminders of your road duties. Drive safely.
Over the years, the JIS has captured so much of Jamaica's history through the use of photos, videos, audio, and even print. It is your go-to place for all things Jamaican, especially historical places of interest to visit across the island.
one of the oldest parishes in the island that might have been originally named after Thomas Hickman Lord Windsor, the then governor of Jamaica in 1662. Seated in a right angle, bordered by the spellbinding St. Andrew on the west, the picturesque Portland on the north, and then gently washed by the waves of the Seine Caribbean Sea.
Bienvenido a St. Thomas.
Welcome to St. Thomas.
Full place, St. Thomas. We're there.
St. Thomas Adena. Welcome to St. Thomas.
However you put it, we're there, St. Thomas. Join us on this travelogue. We'll be moving throughout the creases and corners of this beauty, turning the pages of our local history book, in which you will see the old Borden Wharf, Judgment Cliff, Roselle Waterfall, and other places. The cliff high above the Landaway community in St. Thomas at first glimpse appears to be just like any other overlooking the parish. But take a second look and you'll notice that a section of it is completely gone. Known as Judgment Cliff, it got its name from a story of how an entire community was wiped out during the 1692 earthquake. It's a story that passed through generations in the community and one that residents readily recount to passerbys like myself.
Judgment Cliff, I was informed that they used to have a plantation up there run by a serious, wicked slave master. Imposed draconian measures on the farmers, and one of the reasons why they resided on the cliff, that in case the slave wanted to run away, they would have difficulty in doing so. The place collapsed. I guess during the same time, Port Royal earthquake was taking place. That was 1692.
It was a plantation to people who lived there too. Everybody get covered out. Then say, when it happens at night, they say a man, a rooster, and a bull save. The man gone out, gone wild. The rooster fly off of the roost. The bull broke down the pen, gone out, gone wild, same like the man.
We're still set on traveling this allure, blessed indeed by the events of history. Right now, we're headed to a gem up the road on the corner. Tumbling over the rocks onto the roadside is an area known for its pristine waterfalls and fishes. The Roselle Waterfall is used for bathing and even for washing by residents or those passing and entertainment prior to Hurricane Dean in 2007. But despite that, residents still enjoy the untouched water and how it seemingly removes all pains and ills. And from that water that falls, our next stop is a spot where the residents fish.
This fishing area named Lethal Beach, right? When the weather good, we go to sea and fish. When it's bad, we have to stay on the land. Well, we're doing this about some 50 years now, and we do it for a living. So I maintain the family. We have to prepare the net. We buy the net ready made, and we put on the fittings towards it. We put on the lead and the cork and so on. Like what you see here, you know, we put it in the boat and go out and fish. We catch all type of fish. We catch snapper, we catch parrot, drum, barracuda, doctor fish, all type of different fishes. Sometimes tourists pass and them take pictures and all them kind of thing. And them like when they're knitting in it, sometimes they spend all the day with you. This is my daily living, and that's something that I enjoy all my life. I don't know that's work but fishing now. Back in the days, over Bournemouth, they usually do export a lot of things over there. We even use a small canoe and go over there to fishing through the day. It's just across
across from the other side of the fishing village.
St. Thomas is a major growing area for food such as banana, coffee, coconut, sugarcane, and even for fishing. It houses one of the island's natural deep water harbors that was once used as a port for exporting these same food items. No, we couldn't come to St. Thomas and not mention anything about our national hero Paul Bogle or the popular Morant Bay Rebellion.
Yeah, the Morant Bay Rebellion took place at the Morant Bay Courthouse with Paul Bogle and his followers marching from Stonygut to Morant Bay.
Poverty and inequality in the society forced Paul Bogle to lead the protest march to this courthouse on October 11, 1865. In a violent confrontation with official forces, nearly 500 people were killed and more were flogged and punished before order was finally restored. On October 24, 1865, Paul Bogle was arrested and executed at this very same spot of land, the Morant Bay Courthouse. And just like that, we've ended our tour in this natural and material beauty, unfolding the stories behind just a few places. If you haven't been here already, then what are you waiting for?
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash no paper, no dash no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
I was born here, and I was raised here. Resilient people, a tropical island. Oh yeah, and I learned to smile. Beautiful. Here I learned what love is. Authentic Jamaica, the happiest island. Oh yeah. So let's remind ourselves and tell the world hello. I'm a Jamaican. We are Jamaicans. Hello. Hello. I'm a Jamaican. The energy is high. Our people proud and strong. When we stand together, we're rising for better. Oh yeah. We're many but one. Together we will let's remind ourselves and tell the world hello. Hello. I'm a Jamaican. We are Jamaicans. Hello. Hello. I'm a Jamaican. Jamaicans, I really love you. We'll smile the way right through. We're third millennium. I really like you, forever love you. We are wonderfully great, with happiness at home. Now, tomorrow, forever. I really like you, forever love you. Jamaica, 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 Jamaica. So let's remind ourselves and tell the world hello. Hello. I'm a Jamaican.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages, that's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website at jis.gov.jm for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Home is where all the sweetness, silliness, and beauty of life happens. Discover your style and express yourself with furniture from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Visit any of our 2 locations at Ligony Kingston or Fairview Montego Bay. Find the most exquisite range of furniture in varying styles to suit your needs. So tell your story with elegant and affordable lounge, bedroom, dining pieces, and more from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Here at Ashley, this is home.
Design, Develop, Create. The Jamaica Observer celebrates Design Week JA September 23 to 29, looking at interior and exterior designs, facilitating discussions for homeowners and homemakers. Join us as our partners share their expertise in design conversations, installations, and demonstrations while offering amazing in-store deals. Design Week Jamaica 2018 presented by Cola, sponsored by National Housing Trust, Tile City and Home Center, National Commercial Bank, Caribbean Airlines, Spanish Court Hotel, Business Access TV, and Wealth Magazine Home Sweet Home. See the Daily Observer for details.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
The Mona School of Business and Management hosted its 4th business conference at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, and Business Access TV was there to bring you the highlights. Stay tuned.
Welcome on behalf of the Mona School of Business and Management to our 4th biennial conference. We're here to discuss delivering on the promise of entrepreneurship, and it is critical at this juncture that Jamaica in particular and the rest of the Caribbean have been going through all sorts of structural and fiscal and monetary adjustments. These are necessary, but not sufficient. And entrepreneurship is clearly one of the ways in which we will capitalize on a more robust financial platform that we have. And today we'll be looking both at research and examples from the Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the global audience. In that context, I would like to welcome all our visitors and presenters who have come from the Caribbean, the USA, and Europe, and I'd like to thank you for attending. We look forward to having very interesting conversations over the 3 days. and as has been our custom, to have generated research and publications arising out of the conference to advance knowledge. Our goal is to provide a link between the academy and the business community in a more direct way than other faculties and departments at the university. I therefore welcome not just this interaction between the school and the wider community, but we hope to use it as a springboard to forge even better partnerships.
I've noticed that the title of the opening plenary is Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Growth, Unlocking the Potential in the Jamaican Economy. So I presume that within that is the message that entrepreneurship and innovation have something to do with growth. And it's a fair assumption. And that is perhaps why we are being told by the Economic Growth Council to unleash our entrepreneurial spirit. We are being told by the World Bank to become more innovative. We're told by various members of the political directorate to take more risks and invest in newer areas. So it would appear that there is a growing perception that there is, in fact, a link between entrepreneurship and growth. The private sector organization of Jamaica and the Jamaica Bankers Association are finally reaching out to small and medium-sized entrepreneurs to get them to formalize their operations. So all of this is good. I think there's an energy that is starting. Unfortunately, that has happened before, but there is an energy that's starting that we need to keep going. And we need to understand that, or figure out whether it is a magic bullet or it is the beginning of a new paradigm that must be adopted by all of us across the board in order for us to secure mature development as a nation, as a society. I think we need to take a look at the historical context of our country so that we understand not only where we are or we got here, but we can try and use it to map where we're going. But before I do that, I just wanted to give a commercial plug for the efforts of the Jamaica Bankers Association and the member bankers for the initiative to allow access to finance and to encourage access to finance for the SMEs and the medium-sized businesses. It's important for us to understand that the current definition of an SME is a business entity having between 1 and 50 employees and an annual turnover of less than $150 million. So that is the spectrum of enterprises that we at the PSOJ and the JBA are trying to capture. And the aim is to bring greater awareness of this SME sector to the extremely numerous and detailed programs that the government's access to finance agenda has established since 2016. And also, we want to provide input and support for the adoption and the expansion of the access to finance program across most of the stakeholder sectors through a process of education, facilitation, and familiarization. So the project has two streams. It has the access to finance stream, and it has a reverse factoring program, which is being developed in conjunction with the DDJ to enable small businesses to better manage their receivables. Cash flow is extremely important to small businesses, and we need to assist them in their management of it and in their collection of their debt. So the hope of the program is to foster better relationships between the banks and the small businesses, to simplify the credit processes and to make them easier and more transparent for the small businesses. We want to train the MSMEs, which is the term, in formalizing, regularizing, and structuring their business processes, and to allow them to unlock additional capital to allow for their business expansion.
So as we contemplate how we can deliver on this promise of entrepreneurship in the Caribbean region, in our own Jamaican nation, I invite us to consider those factors which may possibly be standing in the way of us unlocking and unleashing our entrepreneurial potential. As a region and as a nation, we have a reputation of being a creativity powerhouse. We pride ourselves in our ability to come up with creative, original new ideas, and we often proudly hail our national mantras such as turn your hand and make fashion, which speaks to our creative national problem solving abilities, which allow us to turn any obstacle into an inventive opportunity. Simply put, we are just naturally creative, imaginative, and innovative people. And throughout our history, as a region and as a nation, our creative outputs and our ideas have always garnered global attention. However, in spite of our creative prowess, we seem to have failed to translate our ideas into generating high growth, high worth, high impact entrepreneurial ventures. And so I ponder the question, why do we think that is? Why is it that as a nation and as a region, we have been a plethora of creators in our island, but a dearth of successful entrepreneurs? So to examine this question, I invite us to consider the distinctions between the definitions of creativity and entrepreneurship. Now, the Webster Dictionary defines creativity as the ability to make new things and think of new ideas. That we do well. However, it defines entrepreneurship as an entrepreneur as one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risks of a business or an enterprise. I submit that this is the critical differentiator in this definition between who an entrepreneur is as opposed to who a creative is. In that an entrepreneur is somebody who has to and must take risks. This distinction between these two definitions is important because while we as Jamaicans are a naturally creative people, we need to consider the question, are we naturally entrepreneurial? Are we naturally risk takers and risk makers, or are we risk averse? In the results of the indices from the Global Resilience Index, which ranks 130 countries around the world by the risk and resilience of their business environments, based on certain factors such as economic indicators, risk factors, and supply chain issues, Jamaica has consistently ranked in the bottom 30 of 130 nations in the study. This might suggest that our national distaste for risk is well founded. However, if left unchecked, our risk aversion will continue to be our entrepreneurial Achilles heel. So why is it that as a region, we're such risk averse people? Why do we shy away from risk? I believe it's in part because when we think about entrepreneurial risk, we tend to only focus on the downside versus the upside of risk. A close examination of the term risk suggests that it refers to the effect of uncertainty on meeting organizational outcomes. However, while the effect of uncertainty as an entrepreneurial venture can be both negative and positive, we often only focus on the potential negative effects of risk and uncertainty to the exclusion of the consideration of the positive potential opportunities which risk and uncertainty can also provide. In my opinion, an entrepreneur is someone who sees the future and then sets out to create it. However, creating the future means stepping out into the uncertain and the unknown, and stepping out onto the unknown is risky. Oftentimes, however, when risk-averse entrepreneurs think of the word risk, what comes to mind are only those potential dangers, threats, and negative consequences of undertaking a venture. What if I can't pay my bills? What if the competitor beats me to the market? What if I invest a huge sum of money in the business, but I can't attract enough customers to cover my costs? I submit that this is a flawed view of the concept of risk. To the contrary, as we seek to unlock and unleash our creative and entrepreneurial potential as a region and as a nation, we need to begin to acknowledge that risk and reward are two sides of the same entrepreneurial coin. Consequently, without an active emphasis on entrepreneurial risk-taking and risk-making, we will fail to see the rewards of generating high growth, high impact, high worth entrepreneurial ventures.
Just to give you a little background in terms of what the DBJ does. The DBJ really, the focus as a development bank is to really improve the lives of all Jamaicans through development financing, capacity building, PPPs, and privatizations. DBJ's role in building the economy, in as much as Howard just mentioned that because of factors, the state has had a big influence on the economy. DBJ's role, the philosophy behind it, is really not be competing with the private sector or to take the place of the private sector, but really to fill the gaps where they exist. And so over the many decades, DBJ has been involved in lending through the AFIs at affordable rates when interest rates were at sky-high levels. Putting in place collateral guarantees for good projects that did not have sufficient collateral to access loans. Things that Ignite program grants for innovation, with coming up with a reverse factoring, there is capacity building of our entrepreneurs, and the work that I'm doing, which really was focused on access to finance, access to equity finance through the Jamaica Venture Capital Program. When we established the VC program, the whole point was that we originally thought about it as being access to finance, but pretty quickly recognized that it was wider than just money. We had to be building the ecosystem. Everybody had to be ready for a market. Any market has buyers, sellers, as well as the infrastructure. We had none of those in Jamaica, so we had to be building that infrastructure. So it was really a multifaceted program that was developed, training and capacity building. Our fund managers or investors had to be trained, or fund managers or entrepreneurs, our lawyers, accountants. So there was a lot of training. We also put in place the infrastructure to build, for our first funds to be started, as well as there are a number of legal, regulatory, and tax issues which have to be addressed. And most importantly, the entrepreneurs, the deal flow has to be there. So in looking at building an ecosystem, we had to be cognizant of, as I mentioned, all the various things. Who are the players? How are they going to be exiting the stock exchange? I know Marlene is going to be talking about that shortly. And, entrepreneurship, as well as what's happening with the SMEs and who are what is the support infrastructure. And we took a lot of lessons. We didn't reinvent the wheel. We took a lot of lessons from what happened in Latin America as they were building their private equity and venture capital ecosystems.
Have you evaluated your audit services recently? If not, we encourage you to do so. We would like to introduce you to Doggin Global Audit Services. Doggin Global employs risk-based auditing as one of their audit approaches. Risk-based auditing, in its simplest form, is a relatively new way of independently and objectively obtaining evidence regarding assertions about a process for the purpose of forming an opinion about the process and subsequently reporting on the degree to which the assertions are implemented. Our auditors literally start the audit process by equipping themselves with knowledge of the nature of the business of the entity and its business environment. Auditors arm themselves with sufficient information about a business and its environment so as to assess risk before making a decision of either performing a compliance test or a substantive test. Risk-based audit approach or process. Doggin Global risk-based auditing comprises of 5 broad stages. The most important facets of those stages are information gathering and planning stage, mastery of internal control stage, compliance test stage, substantive test stage, conclusion and production of report stage. Why risk-based audits? The fact that risk-based auditing encourages auditors to have integrated knowledge of businesses makes the whole process of auditing less daunting as it used to be. By understanding the fundamentals of the business models of a company, auditors can easily identify and categorize risk, which will in turn help better determine the risk model or approach that would be most suitable for the audit. Other benefits of following the risk-based approach of auditing are better understanding of business and its environment, increased chance of achieving audit objective, saves resources, makes audit planning easier. Technology is only one component of an integrated approach that combines methodology, knowledge, and technology into our tailored service to you. We deliver our external audit services using a fully automated audit software. This software is designed specifically to integrate knowledge management into the audit process. If you're interested to get the advantages of risk-based audit approach, please contact us for a free quote. Email info@doggin.global.
So I just wanted to tell you real quick about the IDB Lab, just to put in context where we sit and what we are doing and how we could unlock the potential for entrepreneurship and innovation in Jamaica. even further than we are doing now. I like the way we started the panel. So we started off looking at the research because research and development is very integral in all that we have to do as SMEs and entrepreneurs and when we're taking on innovation. We looked at the risk approach to it, smart risk taking. We also looked at our history, where we're coming from, because culturally that's still going to be ingrained in us. And then we looked at the capacity building and all the different elements that's needed. So I want to take you through unlocking that potential that's there and first introducing you to IDB Lab. So IDB Lab is a part of the IDB group. We serve over 650 million persons across the world. We are a part of a group with IDB Invest. IDB works with the government. IDB Invest works with private sector, and then IDB Lab works with different corporate entities, civil society, NGOs, towards solving developmental problems. I'll go back to what Mr. Mitchell had said about inclusiveness. That's what IDB is all about. We are innovation lab looking at inclusive solutions for Latin America and the Caribbean. We create market-driven solutions. So we look at what the market is doing, what the needs are, where the gaps are, and we work along with the private sector to create those solutions. We also look for what we call transformative impact. How do we create what we call 10x impact, greater impact than we have seen before in the projects that we're looking to do? And we're very focused on vulnerable society. This is the inclusiveness that Mr. Mitchell was talking about. Where does the poor and the disabled and those persons who don't have access to goods or services, how can we help to solve some of those problems, elevating those persons, improving their lives so that they can be contributing to the growth of the society? So I mentioned we work with private sector in creating these projects. They're the ones who are executing on the initiatives. I'm going to start with this slide, which is the JSE Market Index. And it is an index taken from Bloomberg yesterday, which really shows that point to point from last year, this time to this year, the market index has gone up by 61.76%. And that is showing you really the power of what happens when businesses are financed and the value created at each stage. So you can see that the index speak about companies and the value that has gone from point of last year to now is an increase of 61.7%. Year to date, 27%. I'm going to share a little bit with you as to why this could happen. But let us talk about the stock exchange group. We are 50 years today, this year, and what we did, we set out to ensure that there was confidence in the market by forming the Jamaica Central Securities Depository in 1998. And in order to broaden the services of the financial sector, in 2008, we formed the trustee division. And this is in order for persons to have confidence in the market when we talk about funding. When we talk about access to equity capital, one of the main pillars is confidence in the market. So the idea of the stock exchange is that we can raise equity, and that is, having shareholders in your company, but also debts can be raised on the market as well. And every once in a while, we do have some simple innovations that allow for markets to grow and for persons to get money and to grow their business. And so in 2009, we created the junior market, and which shows a collaboration between government and the private sector, which offers, because persons have asked what is offered to incentivize businesses to grow, to access capital. And we have the junior market, where with the government's collaboration, we have a 10-year corporate tax holiday. We also have the support of the depository, as I said before, and we are in 40 clients in 5 CARICOM states. So we are all over the Caribbean. What is our market performance? For the main market, we have 55 companies as at June, and 55 securities and 42 companies. For the junior market, because we have the junior market, as I said, as at June, we have 41 companies. So the companies have come to market and have grown and representing 38 securities. And we do have a US dollar market also, and that is growing too. So we can see that people are considering as a credible option the stock market to raise capital. Why would you want to go public? Public, and when you talk about going public, it's a serious situation. It is one of disclosing your business to all concerned. And many persons are reluctant to do that. But more and more, we are seeing, especially small and medium sized, understanding that it is not so bad. When you come to market, you get these various benefits, enhanced profitability and viability, and more about this company is a larger pool of well-run, profitable and compliant, because compliance is important. And there is a wider pool of investors. When probably 5 or so years ago, you had less persons willing to invest in companies that come to market. So you would have probably 20, 30 investors in any what is called an IPO. Now we have thousands of companies, of investors that will invest in companies. So for those persons who are business people, don't be afraid. Persons will invest in you if you have a credible idea and a good plan. We have seen on the level of the macro level that employment has increased, and it is a sustainable economic growth because of that.
Stop for a second and think about an incentive where you get 100% relief on your corporate tax for 5 years and 50% after. And you have in excess of 2,000 companies registered at the company's office. And we only have 40 since we have opened a junior market. It speaks to a bigger issue. So I have 3 minutes and I just want to touch on 2 quick things. That bigger issue is that significantly more education needs to be given to owners of these companies. We spend too much time trying to hide revenues, etc., in so-called getting a lower tax rate that you're impacting the value creation, the revenue expansion of your business. So we need to find a way to get to more of those entrepreneurs to let them understand that the more you open up your company is the more you're going to make, because the tax rate is a percentage of a whole. So if that whole keeps growing, you will always get more than what the government is going to get. I'll touch quickly on the fact that, Neighbor does all these things. We take you from nowhere right up. We fund you with debt, we fund you with equity. The gains have been crazy. But I close by jumping into Audrey's space because I just want to make 2 fundamental points. I think sometimes we don't really focus on what really matters. So the biggest issue with funding in the country is the matter of risk management. So for example, people always say, why is it easier for you to get a car loan than for you to get a capital item loan? And it's very, very simple. There's a secondary market for cars. So when you get a loan, the bank has to ensure its principal can be repaid in the event you don't make the payment. So they'll quickly lend you against a car, because if you default on a car, there are a billion people that are willing to buy the car on a second-hand basis. But that is the secret to true funding in this country. if every sector of the economy that you want to pump funding into, you can create a secondary market, that is where you start to get a lot of funding. Because with all due respect, all of you guys that want money, you don't want to lose money. I don't want to lose money. The facts say that 8 out of 10 of you are going to blow up the money. That's why it is so difficult. So in my mind, the solution is create an environment that if I will invest in all 10, but the 8 that blows up, give me an incentive. Because right now it's too lopsided. I lose everything when your company blows up, and the best, if I'm lucky, that I'm going to get from you is, Mr. Pierce, you're a good guy. Sorry I lost all your money. But guess what? I have another idea. Can you give me some more money for that? It's not going to work. So I finally close by saying, to get these traditional investors to invest in you, you have to come up with a solution that mitigates the risks for them.
Turner from Turner's Innovations. There is so much to know about your company. So many new developments since last year when you won Best New Product. What can you tell us about what has developed since last year till now?
Well, invention doesn't happen overnight, and we're the inventors of the first machine in the world that can strip sorrel. So we decided that we needed to earn some money while we're waiting for the machine to come to light. So much has happened since then. We diversified our portfolio. We brought out a line of products, and last year, as you rightly said, we won Best New Product. Total surprise, and really, really glad, really happy. It's really helped us push forward. So this is an amazing event, the premium event of the year to be a part of. And then to our surprise, we were invited back to talk about our developments over the year, and we got nominated again for a new product that we brought out for Expo, which is our white sorrel. So you have regular sorrel, then you have white sorrel that's never really been packaged before. Right, so we're going to be doing an exclusive of this in the Christmas as a real special gift. We packaged it in a gift bag for you. And what we're doing here today is we're just sampling and showing people how to use sorrel in many, many different ways.
Okay, so let's start with the ways, which is?
So this, I think, might be our next product. We're not sure, going to be on the market. But this is candied sorrel that's been put into a granola bar. And it's really natural, it's honey. And oats, really healthy for you, and just a lightweight, and it's soft, right? So it's not too crunchy, and it's light.
All right, now Alison, there are even more exciting things happening inside this booth than you've told us. What can you tell me about what's happening over there?
Okay, so we diversified, and we brought, just really showing Jamaica that sorrel can be used in so many different ways. So we came out with a sauce. It's sweet and spicy. Nice. So it's just, it's kind of gourmet-ish. I wouldn't say it's kind of like your regular sauce. It's something you can use on chicken or fish. What we've done here is we've done a pomme de terre au fromage avec espagnole, which is really just really posh way of saying potato, cheese, and spinach. But it sounds much nicer. And then, yes, so we've just put it with chicken, and then we've added some of the sweet and spicy sauce on top of it. Would you like to taste?
Of course. Okay. Do I say no to tasting? Eva, you're going to have to hold the microphone for me again.
Problem. Always a pleasure. So this is the...
So I need to be easy.
Yeah, you just you can do. Just taste it all together.
Okay.
With the sauce.
There we go. I can't talk.
It's really nice, right? The cheese and the sweet and the spice, just a little bit of spice, so it's not too spicy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and it's really good on like roast chicken. You can actually put it on chicken and roast it as well. Gives it kind of a glaze. It's kind of a honeyish kind of feel to it. Really, really nice.
This is delicious. I mean, delicious. Alison, as a small business, how would you say the food awards or events like this contribute to the development of your business?
Oh, it's just taken us leaps and bounds. These people are in food every day. They sell food, they make food. The judges have a wealth of experience, so it's the guru of foods, So to be recognized, I mean, when we were nominated last year, it was so such a shock for us. We were just really happy to be here, just be part of the event. We had no idea. I mean, I'm normally kind of a little clued up on what we might win or what we might not win, but this was a total shock to us, and it's made a world of difference. We've put it on our products that we were runners up, and people just take a look straight away, because if it's recognized by people who are in the industry, then people want to try. If it's good enough for the Joneses, you know, then it's good enough for everybody.
So what I really want to ask is what's next for you guys?
We wanted to bring something to market that was going to add value to the farmers and help the country to grow. So we went back to the drawing board. We had a look at our invention again, and we've actually come up with something now. I'm not saying any more, but very, very, very soon, we'll be hitting you with something new. Big.
You're going to win Best New Product again.
We'll be back on the scene again with the machine, which I think is what everybody's really hoping and waiting for.
Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you, Alison. I wish you all the best. I'm so impressed by your business, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
What? So I'm here representing my company and partnering with the Mona School of Business and Management. We at Fastwitch went public just a year and a half ago. And I'm here to tell you about nuts and bolts, just a few things on the nuts and bolts aspect of going public. One of the fundamental things, a few fundamental things that we had to wrestle with is going public. What is the value proposition that we are bringing to the market? You know, the space that we are in is electrical lighting, and we made a footprint for us in the LED space, where that particular product, the LED product, consumes 20% of the energy that the rest of fluorescent and incandescent light systems would produce, would consume. And so we wanted Jamaica to be clear that we are we're going to be the ones to bring this value to each consumer. And so how do we bring that value to the consumer? When you walk into a store and you see an LED bulb or an LED fixture or something, being untrained, you do not know exactly the properties and how it works and so on. And so we decided, okay, we are going to have to develop a department where we give this information to you. So when you walk in, or when we call you, or when we visit you, we are going to teach you or tell you the features of using the LEDs and the benefits. And so that became a big part of the value that we brought to to the market. We had to therefore acquire or employ engineers, and we call them commercial or engineers that can disseminate information in a forum that people can understand. And so we will have small meetings like these. We call them, industrial mingles, whether it be in Montego Bay, in Mandeville, in Kingston, and we invite 50 to 80 people, and we start talking to them. And before long, they start spreading the news of the value of the product that we were offering. And so we were now defining our way in the market. And in doing that, it gave us the freedom to feel more comfortable later on to go public, because now we were bringing the value that the other competitors were not bringing to the market at the time. And so you have to decide what is it you're going to take to the market. We were not manufacturing any products at that time, or we were not manufacturing them in Jamaica, because we had connections in Far East that we visited and we worked with them to manufacture them, but they were not being manufactured in Jamaica. So we wanted to set ourselves apart from the competition. So one, understand what is it you're bringing to the market and what value you give them when they are to use your goods or services before you are thinking of going public. is my another thing, and Marlene and Gary touched on it, transparency. It is my wife and I are very private people before last year. We're very private people. Nobody knew anything about us. I mean, it was so difficult for us to open all of our accounting to our senior accountant. We used to manage it. But once we decided after talking about it and thinking about it that we're going to be going public. I do not even have the code to go into my accounts department anymore because put a system in place and you're not afraid of opening up your books or your business to the public. And so you have to decide that this is the way you want to go and that you're going to go in this way.
So I come to you to talk to you about transforming the world in Caribbean with entrepreneurship, sustainability, and innovation. It's time to turn climate change challenges into growth opportunities. I want to start today by taking a journey with you. Just as I grew up as an only child in Kingston and migrated to the US in high school, think about your experiences and where in Jamaica you're from, where you lived, where you grew up, your family, and what those experiences were like, what you aspired to be, and what you were frustrated with. It is said that our upbringing and life experiences shape us, the way we look at the world and our perspective. I think about my upbringing, born in a family from the great and no longer forgotten parish of St. Thomas, and raised in a matriarchal household. I think about the days when my grandmother made soursop juice and mango juice every time I visited her. I think about those frigid cold showers and the smell of kerosene lamps, and during intermittent power outages, and buckets of water because of the water shut off. And the other things like how I still boil water to this day, no matter where in the world I'm from. I see potential innovation in the challenges in our day-to-day life. Sometimes we're missing ideas and solutions from what is right in front of us. Sometimes we accept what has been occurring as commonplace, but I encourage every one of you to disrupt this status quo. Use those challenges as opportunities for innovation. Steve Jobs said, if you're going to make connections which are innovative, you have to have not the same bag of experiences as everyone else. You're going to have to make connections, and then you won't be innovative. When you think of the most successful tech companies being created today, it's either from Silicon Valley, Israel, Europe, or Asia. However, right here in Jamaica, we have exported our own brand of innovation through music, food, dance, etc., and even the pushback. It is our family experiences, the history of migration, our culture and diversity of our people that makes us special and unique. They are the ingredients for a new crop of innovations that can be utilized to address climate change challenges. I believe that sustainability and climate change is the business and economic opportunity of the century. The world is under a climate emergency. If we don't, in the next 10 years, if we don't reduce the temperature by 1.5 degrees, we will be in a serious catastrophe. According to the UN, limiting global warming means that 420 million fewer people being exposed to severe heat waves, survival of tropical reefs, loss of fewer plants and animal species, and the protection of forests and wetland habitats. Climate change affects every industry, but most notably health, agriculture, water, and food, water and energy. Because of the increased acceptance and the urgency, there has been a rapid increase of funding, governmental projects, and new startup innovations. The capital markets have also taken notice and are integrating environmental consideration, social impact, and governance into business and investment decisions. They are reallocating trillions of dollars to address this challenge. This is an enabling environment that presents an opportunity to create new products, new services and solutions that will help and mitigate, adapt and mitigate the effects of climate change for everyone. Furthermore, because of the islands, because the islands in general are disproportionately affected, in some cases it gives us first mover advantage to innovate and create solutions in a small environment before scaling internationally. The time to innovate and take advantage of new business and social impact opportunity is now. We are currently feeling the effects of climate change. Last month, as many of you know, in Kingston, there was record temperatures. Kingston was not alone. In Alaska, the record temperature reached 32 degrees. In southern France, the record temperature reached 45.5 degrees Celsius. And it's just going to get hotter from here. As higher temperatures become more common, the demand for cooling devices will rise, driving the need for green innovation in this sector. Air conditioning is a twofold problem. It requires the use of more energy and uses chemicals that are harmful to global warming. There are hotter days coming, and there is both a need for new solutions and technologies that can keep us cool, but also reduce the effects of climate change.
Together we can work to be compliant this tax season. File and pay your final income tax return for 2018 and estimated return for 2019 due by March 15 on time and online. Get support in so many ways using our enhanced web services. Customer Care Center 888 Tax Help, Special Taxpayer Assistance Program STEP Schedule, available online at jamaicatax.gov.jn. Corporate income tax and assets tax returns must be filed online. Tax Administration Jamaica, changing the way we do business.
Turner from Turner's Innovations. There is so much to know about your company. So many new developments since last year when you won Best New Product. What can you tell us about what has developed since last year till now?
Well, you know, invention doesn't happen overnight, and we're the inventors of the first machine in the world that can strip sorrel. So we decided that we needed to earn some money while we're waiting for the machine to come to light. So much has happened since then. We diversified our portfolio. We brought out a line of products, and last year, as you rightly said, we won Best New Product. Total surprise, and really, really glad, really happy. It's really helped us push forward. So this is an amazing event, the premium event of the year to be a part of. And then to our surprise, we were invited back to talk about our developments over the year, and we got nominated again for a new product that we brought out for Expo, which is our white sorrow. So you have regular sorrow, then you have white sorrow that's never really been packaged before. Right, so we're going to be doing an exclusive of this in the Christmas as a real special gift. We packaged it in a gift bag for you. And what we're doing here today is we're just sampling and showing people how to use sorrel in many, many different ways.
Okay, so let's start with the ways, which is...
So this, I think, might be our next product. We're not sure, going to be on the market. But this is candied sorrel that's been put into a granola bar. And it's really natural, it's honey. And oats, really healthy for you, and just a lightweight, and it's soft, right? So it's not too crunchy, and it's light.
All right, now Alison, there are even more exciting things happening inside this booth than you've told us. What can you tell me about what's happening over there?
Okay, so we diversified, and we brought, just really showing Jamaica that sorrel can be used in so many different ways. So we came out with a sauce. It's sweet and spicy. So it's just, it's kind of gourmet-ish. I wouldn't say it's kind of like your regular sauce. It's something you can use on chicken or fish. What we've done here is we've done a pomme de terre au fromage avec espagnole, which is really just really posh way of saying potato, cheese, and spinach. But it sounds much nicer. And then, yes, so we've just put it with chicken, and then we've added some of the sweet and spicy sauce on top of it. Would you like to taste?
Of course. Okay. Do I say no to tasting? Eva, you're going to have to hold the microphone for me again.
No problem. Always a pleasure. So this is the...
Right, so I need to be eating all of this?
Yeah, you can do. Just taste it all together.
Okay.
With the sauce.
There we go.
It's really nice, right? The cheese and the sweet and the spice, just a little bit of spice, so it's not too spicy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and it's really good on like roast chicken. You can actually put it on chicken and roast it as well. It gives it kind of a glaze. It's kind of a honeyish kind of feel to it. Really, really nice.
This is delicious. I mean, delicious. Alison, as a small business, how would you say the food awards or events like this contribute to the development of your business?
Oh, it's just taken us leaps and bounds. These people are in food every day. They sell food, they make food. The judges have a wealth of experience, so it's the guru of foods, you know? So to be recognized, I mean, when we were nominated last year, it was such a shock for us. We were just really happy to be here, just be part of the event. We had no idea. I mean, I'm normally kind of a little clued up on what we might win or what we might not win, but this was a total shock to us, and it's made a world of difference. We put it on our products that we were runners up, and people just take a look straight away, because if it's recognized by people who are in the industry, then people want to try. If it's good enough for the Joneses, you know, then it's good enough for everybody.
So what I really want to ask you is what's next for you guys?
We wanted to bring something to market that was going to add value to the farmers and help the country to grow. So we went back to the drawing board. We had a look at our invention again, and we've actually come up with something now. I'm not saying any more, but very, very, very soon, we'll be hitting you with something new. Big.
You're going to win Best New Product again.
We'll be back on the scene again with the machine, which I think is what everybody's really hoping and waiting for.
Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you, Alison. I wish you all the best. I'm so impressed by your business, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
What?
So today I will be speaking about Airbnb, which is very topical. The emergence of Airbnb in Jamaica and some of the debates and concerns that we have. I'm going to be pointing to what I consider to be a research gap and some questions, a very brief literature review, tell you a little bit about my methodology, what I found out, and some preliminary conclusions. I want to say that this is part of a larger body of work, and it's very much still in progress. So two things, forgive me if everything isn't there, and secondly, I really welcome your comments, which will help me to, I can utilize them as I go forward. All right, so these are some of the headlines that we see, that we have seen over time. I just went to our local newspapers, and you can see there's quite a debate happening, and this happens everywhere Airbnb goes. Very few people are neutral. They either love it or they hate it. So most recently, in the last week, we have had the issue of taxation come up, and the whole issue about how much are people earning from Airbnb currently. The last comment that really caught my attention was from the JHTA, Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association. And they're saying, tax because we need a level playing field. And what is in quotation there, you can read for yourself. But in essence, the JHA's position is that, look, these people are legitimate competitors to us, and we don't see why, if they are competing in our space, they shouldn't have to have the same, my words, burden that we have. So, what I have been noticing in this debate, there's a lot of talk, as I showed you the headlines, about Airbnb and home sharing. Airbnb, of course, is just one of the many companies, but it's a name that everybody knows. So, and it's what I'm actually focusing my work on. But there's a lot of stuff we don't know. For example, are they really unfair threats? Are they tapping into the same market as the hotels? Or are they just little people trying to make some extra cash? JHTA doesn't think so, that they're little people, but how much do we really know? Do they offer similar products? And in essence, it comes down to one question: what exactly are they doing? So I have some research questions that I will show you again in a little bit. But in essence, what I'm trying to understand is from the perspective of the host. So rather than going macro, I'm actually going to go micro. because hosts are the ones who make or break an Airbnb product. So that's what I will be looking at. So as I said, I'll mention these research questions in a little bit. But to just talk about the host, who is the host? Well, one definition says a good host makes his guests very happy, makes his guests happy while they're in his care. So that's in essence what a host would be required to do. But in addition to that, a host has a legal and moral obligations. So if some of us have studied hospitality law, and we know that coming back from common law, innkeeper's liability, and so on, you have the obligation to ensure that your guests are kept safe and healthy. But in addition to that, there's this moral code from many religions and traditions, meaning that you have to take the person in. In addition to that, in Jamaica, we have very strict legislation. And for a homestay, which currently Airbnb would fall under, there are 11 standards established by TPD, Tourism Products and Development Company, that have to be met. And they're currently looking at new legislation, they say. But currently, this is where it would fall. And hosts should also receive Team Jamaica training. B&B hosts, bed and breakfast hosts, are often lifestyle entrepreneurs, and that's a nice way of saying they don't necessarily do it for the money. There's a lot of romance and mystery associated with the concept of bed and breakfast. And the interesting thing with Airbnb is, it sounds like breakfast, bed and breakfast, and they're built on that notion, although they technically, they don't have to serve breakfast, and very few actually do. But remember that many of them are lifestyle entrepreneurs. And the services that they're expected to provide, they're very intimate, customer service oriented, personalized, and so on, because in many cases, you're coming into the home of the host. Airbnb now, what they say is almost anyone can be a host. That's what, if you go to their website, they will say that. But what you may not understand when you're falling up on that, oh, I'm sorry, and they also say that there are 3 steps: list the space, decide how to host, and welcome the first guest. And that sounds really simple as 1, 2, 3. But in reality, each of those steps assumes a whole body of knowledge which everybody may not have. You have to understand how to market. You have to understand how to do your pricing according to the season, according to supply and demand, and so on. And of course, how to manage your property and to interact with guests.
This afternoon, I'm going to be presenting on Airbnb and delivering the promise of Airbnb, the promise of entrepreneurship to Jamaica. And as my colleague mentioned, Dr. Craig, about the whole issue of Airbnb, it's a very controversial topic now. To tax or not to tax, those are the issues. But today for my presentation, I'm going to be providing and sharing some data with you about Airbnb's performance in Jamaica in particular. And please note that this is a part of a larger body of study. I'm actually studying Airbnbs not only in Jamaica, but also in Cuba and Cayman Islands and Bahamas. So the sample that you're seeing me extrapolate data from is a part of a wider body of knowledge that is also currently ongoing and in process. So as you can see, it's the whole business of home sharing. So the idea is not lost upon us. And another thing that we want to drive home is that the whole notion of Airbnb is really not new to the Jamaican tourism industry, Caribbean tourism industry by extension. We've always opened our homes to guests. It's just the way in which we're doing it is different. And technology has created a platform that allows for greater access to persons who are also seeking this kind of intimate relationship and more authentic experiences. So we're going to get into, again, some of the controversy I also took from the headlines because it's so topical. And as you can see, there's so many issues coming out, how many guests we're actually welcoming, where they're going, who are they staying with, to tax or not to tax. That's also a big question that is trying to be answered now. So it's very topical. But again, just to frame and contextualize it, Airbnb is a part of the wider sharing economy. And I love that term, as you mentioned, the Uber reputation, is it? Yes, fantastic.
because really that's what it is. It stems from these radical innovations that allow people to make extra money. That's really what it is. So I looked at the literature again from sources and what persons are saying about the sharing economy, which we're now a part of. And that is why everybody's trying to get their slice of the pie. So Botsman in particular had mentioned that it's very hard for us to define in totality what the sharing economy is. However, Ryan and Botsman in 2017 and 15 respectively looked at it from calling it a collaborative economy, the on-demand services economy, the gig economy, the freelance economy. So if you hear any of these terms, they're all used interchangeably. And basically it refers to the sharing activity of underutilized assets with the help of IT-based technology. So it's nothing new. It's just again the platform in which we're presenting it is a little different. So the main drivers towards this economy, how did it emerge and why are we here and why is it so important to us? The main drivers is basically consumer behavior. We're switching now from ownership to access. Now I'm a part of a very unique group of consumers and producers called the millennials, and there are a few in this room. And we're kind of changing and shaping the way in which we consume things. So we're looking more, less to ownership rather, and more to access. And that is what is causing all these radical innovations to take place right across our landscape, and in particular in tourism. Now, the biggest success factors of the sharing economy is online reputation. And my colleague again, Anne Crick, also mentioned, the feedback system and rankings in terms of host and super host and all of that. Very important for us to look at. So these are some of the brands that come about under the sharing economy: Uber, Airbnb, Homestay, Lyft, WeWork, all of these, Craigslist, Couchsurfing, all of them are part of the sharing economy. So peer-to-peer accommodation, this is where people provide accommodation directly to consumers using a digital platform. And these are temporary stays in the homes. Airbnb in particular for P2P accommodation, most people call it Airbnb, but there are also other platforms that are very much relevant to us and is affecting the Jamaican tourism accommodation landscape: TripAdvisor, HomeAway, and also Booking.com. Now, just to share some data with you, globally, peer-to-peer accommodations, they're 7% of total accommodation around the world, 8 million beds. It's estimated that the number of transactions that took place was actually 75 billion US in 2017. And the trends and findings, again, the millennials are the ones who are driving this form of innovation. And also, it is not limited to budget travelers. It's not just about cheap travel, but efficient travel as well. And it was initially for the leisure market, but we find from my studies that the business traveler is also another trending market. So for entrepreneurs who are trying to get into Airbnb, an aspect that you could look at in terms of growth is catering to the needs of the business traveler. So Jamaica, what is happening with Jamaica and what does it mean for us going forward? Jamaica was chosen as one of the countries for a pilot study by the World Bank in 2018. So they came to the Ministry of Tourism and they wanted to study peer-to-peer accommodations in the Caribbean, and Jamaica was the country chosen. But why is the World Bank interested in peer-to-peer accommodation? It is said that it can help to eliminate poverty, boost shared prosperity, and also its contributions for income generation for a broader group of people, in particular women, which I'll be looking at tomorrow. So in Jamaica, just to put things into perspective, there is over 5,000 active listings on Airbnb in Jamaica, 7,600 in total. So that's a recent statistics that's coming from Airbnb. So we have 7,600 hosts, 5,000 active, which means they're actually getting bookings and doing well. TripAdvisor Rentals also has 2,300 listings. HomeAway has 950 listings, and Booking.com has 1,124. So it's not just Airbnb, but it's just that Airbnb is one of the platforms that has seen the most growth throughout the years.
Thanks for staying with us for coverage of the Mona School of Business and Management's 4th Business Conference. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Internal audit. Internal audit service is vital when organizations aim to achieve reliable financial reports and regulatory compliance, navigating risks, streamlining operations, and promoting stakeholder confidence. The benefits of a high-quality internal audit are limitless, especially when you secure yours from a firm with deep industry experience, exposure to hundreds of organizations, dedicated professionals, and proven methodologies. Whether you're looking to establish an internal audit function, attain or maintain compliance with various regulations, mitigate your risk of fraud, or gain an overall assessment of your internal controls, you can count on Dodge & Global for reliable and timely business solutions. We've helped organizations nationwide and across industries to establish internal control structures, create an internal audit function, or improve an existing one, and maintain regulatory compliance. We provide ongoing education as regulations and public perceptions change. We are trusted advisors for management and boards. External auditors can be confident in our work and its results. Let Dodge & Global be a turnkey solution for your organization. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global. M&A Strategy and Advisory. Are you planning for a merger or acquisition? M&A transaction. The decision to embark upon an M&A transaction is not one to be taken lightly. Whether pursuing a merger or acquisition, or considering a disposal or divestiture, the complexities of an M&A transaction require careful planning and execution. Clients can depend on our specialist teams to lead or support transactions requiring specific expertise on issues including business modeling, fast-track M&A, economic consulting, and government public sector advice. With deep experience, knowledge, and tools, Dodge & Global can meet stakeholder targets and expectations. Dodge & Global consulting teams can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
It's a honeycomb. It can't be, it's too big.
About 100 million years ago, bees were more like wasps, eating other insects rather than nectar and pollen. It's unclear exactly when bees decided to become vegetarians, but considering the choice between eating a fly and some delicious sweet-tasting nectar from a cherry tree in full bloom, it seems like a good decision. This week on The Good Life, we look at the honeybee and the benefits of the sweet, viscous food it provides. Scientists believe that bees are responsible for the rich flower diversity we enjoy today. And so it was fitting to journey to the breadbasket parish of St. Elizabeth to talk to renowned bee farmer Elton Cawley.
The bee is very important to life itself. The bee supports about 60% of the food production. So without the bee, we probably would not exist. The bee also produces honey, the main thing, honey, which is a health food. Honey is really the nectar that they take from the flower. There are different set of bees in the colony. You have the worker who collects nectar. You have the nurse bee, that is the newly emerged bees. They do housekeeping, like keep the queen clean, feed the young ones, and they do inside work. When they are strong and mature enough, they join the workforce, and they will fly out to collect pollen and nectar. Also, they collect resin from the trees, which are used to make the propolis. The scouts will fly out in search of flowering plants. They come back to the hive and communicate that information to the bees that are in the hive. Tell them what direction to fly, and they will go out, fill their stomach with the nectar, and fly back to the hive. While flying to the hive, that nectar that they take in their stomach is converted to honey, and they take back honey to the hive, deposit it, and go again. And there are thousands of bees that are doing that during the day. Our main source in St. Elizabeth, we have a lot of lagwood. The lagwood is the main one. The lagwood is a distinctive honey. It has a special taste. It has a special aroma. People always go for lagwood honey. If we should label the honey as lagwood honey, we can ask for a premium price for it. But most farmers don't separate the lagwood honey from the multifloral. They just package everybody and sell it at one price. But the lagwood honey is exceptional. This frame, the queen lays in it. You notice there are some seal broods and there are some larvas. So she lays in this, both sides. The top section of it, they store some honey. You refer to it as the honey arch. You know, see them store it in an arch. And as soon as these bees emerges, they stock honey in all of this.
Honey has had a valued place in traditional medicine for centuries. It has a limited use in modern medicine due to the lack of scientific support, but studies have recorded some undisputed benefits.
Honey, benefits. Oh boy, honey has many benefits. It is referred to as nature's only natural food. When one takes honey in their system, your body uses up every part of the honey that you take in. None of it not go to waste. And that is the reason why it is not advisable that you take a whole heap of honey one time, because your body cannot deal with it in large volume. If you have any fungal infection, whether your hair, your skin, your eyes, between your toes, you apply a small coat of honey and you're good to go. When you take honey, it energizes you. It relaxes the nerves. It is suggested that you drink a teaspoonful of honey each night just before you go to your bed. Honey is used in manufacturing. A lot of products that are on the market, honey is part of it. The health food stores do use honey in some of the products.
In addition to those benefits, studies have shown that raw honey is linked to healthy weight management when substituted for sugar as a sweetener. Raw honey is said to also activate hormones that suppress the appetite. Raw honey raises levels of health-promoting antioxidants in the body, especially those that have been shown to reduce the risk of heart disease and cancer. In the process of making honey, the bee also produces other health foods.
There is also the pollen. It is also a health food. It's one of the high energy food that they produce for themselves. Pollen, it's not recommended that you mix it into a hot drink. If you expose it to a high temperature, it will destroy the enzymes in the product. So it will basically be useless. You can use it on your salad, you can mix it in your fruit drink, and you can eat it straight. Because of its multiple health purposes, it can be used widely.
Bee pollen contains more protein than any animal source and more amino acids than an equal weight of eggs or beef. It is also in raw honey, which is known to ward off infections and provide natural allergy relief.
The wax is another product of the hive. They will eat back some of that honey. That's the mature bees. And there's a special gland inside of them that convert the honey to wax. That wax they use to build the combs and to build the cells and to seal it whenever they fill it with honey. When we extract the honey, we find ourselves with the extra wax. We can either sell it or use it back in the hive.
The wax that is sold is often used in the hair and beauty industry as an ingredient in lip balms and natural makeup. It is used in moisturizing body bars to combat chronically dry skin, eczema, and other irritating skin conditions, and is excellent for conditioning and strengthening braids and dreadlocks.
The bees produce the propolis mainly from the rhizome of plants, and they mix it with some enzymes and other products. The propolis have antibiotic propensity, so they use it to sterilize everything inside there. Even when the bees go out and collect, they have to pass through the entrance, which is coated with propolis. It helps to clean the system. If something goes in the hive and they cannot manage to take it out, they propolize it. You use the propolis to seal it so it cannot contaminate anything inside there. When the bees work inside there, the honey, the bee bread, the pollen, whatever they store inside there, it is not contaminated. It is clean. The only time that any product from the hive will be contaminated is after it is taken out. It depends on how you process it. Not many of us have started extracting propolis, but there's also a market for propolis. There's also a market for the royal jelly, but I don't know of anybody in Jamaica that is extracting royal jelly. It's very expensive and it's very technical to handle. There are some people who go into flavored honey. Honey can be flavored, but for medicinal, I'm certain about the honey and garlic. I do use it myself. It's a very good remedy for cough and cold.
Outsourced finance and accounting service. Growing companies face a challenge. For you to stay focused on building your business, you need solid financial management with a dependable accounting function, a resource you may not have in-house. That's where we come in. Dodgen Global provides startups and other businesses with outsourced accounting and finance solutions on a fixed fee basis. No matter what your size or fundraising status, we can tailor our services to fit your needs at every stage of your company's life cycle. Whether you want to add expertise to your existing team or completely outsource your accounting and finance functions, we offer reliable and economical options, including accounting system installations and upgrades, from simple to complex, help establishing preferred banking, legal, payroll, benefits, and HR relationships, paperless online bill payment and bookkeeping, financial reporting and advice for management and investors, financial statement audit management, sales tax compliance. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global, website https://dodgen.global.
Welcome back to The Good Life. If you are just joining us, we are exploring the benefits of honey. Let's look at the queen bee.
The queen is the most important bee. She is the one who maintains the hive. She knows when to produce and how much to produce. She can lay up to 2,000 eggs per day. And that's a lot of eggs. And that is why you find there are so much workers in the hive, because she's the one who lays all those eggs. She lays the drones in the drone cell when it is necessary. The more bees you have in the hive, the more efficient the hive is. So if you give them the space, they will produce and occupy all the space. The aim of keeping good hives is to keep it strong, especially when it's coming up to flowering time. You will have to determine how fast you want your hive to grow, you know. For example, you must know whether you want more hives or you want more honey. Now, if you want more hives, you're going to have to keep splitting those hives. If you can produce queens, you can produce queens from the hive without allowing the bees to do it. We have a few queen producers in Jamaica. I am not one of them. I use the traditional method, the old-time method, right? By setting the bees, make them queenless, put some bees together, make sure you have eggs, larvae, and seal brood with those bees that you put down there, and they will create a queen. 7 days after you put down those bees, you will go back and you check if they are producing a queen. All the eggs, that 2,000 eggs that she lay per day, most, I would say 2/3 or more of those eggs are fertilized. Any one of those eggs, they can convert that to a queen. Those bees, they have a special gland in them that generate the royal jelly. That's why they call them the nurse bees, because they are the ones who produce the royal jelly that they use to feed the larva and to feed the queen. And by the way, the queen only eats royal jelly, and she's fed with the royal jelly by the nurse bees. They build one of these worker cells, or two, and they feed it, they stock it with royal jelly. Fill it up, they build it longer than the ordinary worker cell, and stock it, fill it with royal jelly, and seal it, and leave it there. After some days, a queen will re-emerge.
With growing campaigns about health and wellness, more people are opting to use honey as the preferred sweetener. But can we satisfy this demand?
There's a high demand for honey locally. We can't even think about the international market because we are not producing enough to satisfy the local demand. So therefore, we have to be focusing now and upping our production so we can meet the local demand. There are about 48,000 hive of bees in Jamaica presently. This is coming out of the Ministry of Agriculture. I think they did a survey. And we have about 30,000 beekeepers. Most honey producers, they dispose of their honey by June. And after that, the people who have some honey still purposely hoard it so that they can ask for extremely high price. But from January to June, honey, this price is sort of stable.
Though there is potential and hope for growth for the bee industry in Jamaica, Mr. Cawley outlines some hard facts about its current state that may hinder development.
I would say at this point that beekeeping is a pretty expensive venture to go in. But the good thing about it, you can recover your investment within 2 years if things are normal. Bees are selling now anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000 per single colony, full single colony, 15 and 20,000. You can get it cheaper, and some people are asking more. But it depends on who is selling it, because some people just get fed up and want to get out of it, so they will sell it for any price. They will sell it for cheaper than that. So if you are lucky to find someone like that, fine. But it's not only the cost of the hive. There are some other equipment that you have to buy. you have to buy a veil. A veil is running where between $3,000 and $4,000 per veil. Hive tool, probably about $1,200 or thereabout. You have a smoker running between $10,000 and $11,000. The hive body is sold at about $1,500 each. The frames are sold at $150 each. Foundation is $2,000 or more per pound. Now, if a person sell you a hive of beads for anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000, the hive body, the frames, the foundation, that will be part of that package. Here's the hive tool, the smokers, those are additional to the $15,000. The last price is about between $1,200 to $1,500 per 750 ml. The bulk honey is going about $30,000 per 22 liter, near about 5 gallons. That's expensive. This type of price is as a result of the higglering. The higglers will buy the honey and they will go out there and sell it for any price. There are some people who will buy the bulk honey and keep it until these times when the honey is short. So they will go out there and sell it for some really high price. And people, the interesting thing about it is that people are buying it. So that is the reason why the honey price is won't be stabilized for now.
I am Richard Pandui, CEO of Separate Group. Export has been a significant part, a key pillar in our growth agenda. We have been growing our export business through a mixture of our own brands and through co-packing for other companies. But I think exporting for anybody is critical. I mean, when you look at the policies in Jamaica, the government policies, it's basically saying to us that we need to export, we have to export. When you speak about a dollar being devalued for competitiveness, it doesn't make sense unless you're exporting. A key challenge in many small, medium-sized companies in Jamaica is it requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of understanding regulatory requirements of the market that you intend to export to. And this is where the JMEA plays an important part in helping especially the SMEs to understand and navigate through the regulatory hurdles. Export is critical for the growth of our country, for the growth of our business, and it's something that is no longer a nice to do, but a must do for proper survival. We're the defending champions. I mean, the last awards, we won the Export of the Year for the large category. And that was such an amazing feeling. Actually opened out an export door, and it gave such an energy and impetus to our team to grow the business. And the truth is, the trophy looked really nice in our office. I would like to keep it.
Full-service HR solutions. Whether attempting to increase market share, improve profitability, or add staff, every company is trying to grow. Unfortunately, every company also encounters challenges and experiences pain during the growth process. Not surprisingly, many executives don't have the time to address these challenges without shifting their focus away from revenue-generating tasks. That's where we come in. At Doggin Global, we're passionate about helping people like you grow their businesses, take better care of their employees, and enjoy a higher quality of life. And we've been doing just that for more than 17 years. What sets Doggin Global apart from other HR outsourcing firms is our ability to create customized and scalable service offerings that not only meet your organization's current needs, but also can grow as your business grows. Why our model works. We deliver our HR services in one of two ways, either through a professional employer organization arrangement, PEO, or through an administrative services organization, ASO, arrangement. Professional employer organization, PEO. Under a professional employer organization arrangement, your company enters a co-employment relationship with Doggin Global. This allows us to act as the employer of record for your business, facilitating shared liability with Doggin Global on employee-related matters. This arrangement also gives us full authority to perform many of the tedious administrative tasks associated with being an employer: payroll administration, benefits reconciliation, etc. on your behalf and process all employee-related taxes under our tax identification number. Administrative Services Organization, ASO. Doggin Global ASO model allows you to pick and choose from our wide array of services to create a custom offering designed to support or supplement your current in-house HR staff or internal processes. This a la carte approach is more like traditional business process outsourcing and vendor-client relationships, and works best for large and established companies that already have an HR infrastructure in place. For additional information, contact us at email info@doggin.global, website www.doggin.global.
Welcome back to The Good Life. Before the break, bee farmer Elton Colley highlighted some major concerns faced by the bee industry in Jamaica. He continues.
The bee industry have been suffering for some time now. I would say about 3-4 years since we have been seeing a steady decline in the production of honey. If your bees are not strong, even though the plants are flowering, they will not be able to collect enough nectar to produce the honey in large volume. So the key is to keep your bees strong. And our strength has been declining over a number of years. We have been looking at several factors of the decline locally. Up to this point, we haven't come to any conclusion as to what is the cause of our problem or decline in Jamaica. There was a time we were looking at a type of insecticide that the farmers use, that they say it is neonicotinoid, but they haven't come to any conclusion. We are still out there hoping for the best. We have been doing our in-house maintenance, and we are dealing with whatever other challenges we are having.
But outside of bee farmers who are doing what they can to save the bee industry, who else can help?
The Ministry of Agriculture. Yes, they can do a lot. Firstly, there should be some regulation as to the destruction of the plants that generate nectar for honey production. What is happening to us in St. Elizabeth? Coal burners is playing havoc on our main honey producing plants, the lagwood. They will go into an area where lagwood is, and when they are finished with it, you don't see nothing. Everything is flat. That is a dangerous practice for honey production. There is still some regulation as to the importation of honey. I think that is still in place. I think they need to ensure that nobody bring in honey in Jamaica, because without it, it's being properly screened. Honey carries some of the problems like the foul brood, for example. From an area is contaminated with foul brood, the bees will spread it within the area that they forage. They take it to the plant on their legs, they leave the spore on the plant, and bees from a healthy hive will go to that same flower, pick up the nectar along with the foul brood spore, and take it back to the healthy hive. Foul brood, it destroys the hive over time. We also have pests. There is a mite and there is a hive beetle that we have in Jamaica now. But we are working on it. We are trying to see if we can counter it or to decrease the population of these pests and disease. Individual farmers will have to apply their own remedy. For the mite, there is a chemical that you use. But another problem with using that chemical, it can get in the honey, so you can only use it at a certain time. And not everybody going to adhere by the rule. So we stand a chance of contaminating the honey. And if we run in that problem, when we reach the point to export, we're going to have a problem. Pre-de-larvae is a problem in some of the areas. I myself have suffered a little bit of pre-de-larvae problem, but it's not widespread. We are in discussion with the apiculture unit in the ministry as to the best way to counter the pre-de-larvae problem. There are some things that we plan to do. I cannot say it now publicly because, you know, for security purpose, we can't disclose. However, hopefully, we'll get on top of it.
Despite evidence that much more needs to be done for the bee industry to prosper, Mr. Cawley notes that he is beginning to see signs of improvement in bee season, which he finds encouraging.
The main flowering time starts about December, January, February, March, down to April, May. After that, the flowering will cut back, and that's the dearth period. The dearth period is when they don't have much out there. But if it's an extreme condition where it's dry, we have to feed them full scale with either sugar or soya blend along with pollen substitute. The honey production, honey, pollen, propolis, all of them, they produce in large quantity from December to April. The bees are looking better at this time of the year than they have been looking the past 2-3 years at this time. So we are hoping that it is a sign of a turnaround for the industry.
Doggin Global Business Process Outsourcing. Doggin Global can help you with your day-to-day administrative and secretarial needs. We provide solutions for streamlining your accounting and bookkeeping procedures, so you can get on with running your business while knowing that all the accounting and statutory needs are being taken care of. Our BPO services include the following: bookkeeping, preparation of budgets, management accounts, and periodic financial analyses, provision of temporary or part-time accounting assistance, design and implementation of accounting systems, preparation of accounting manuals, payroll services, corporate secretarial services, assisting clients with their business entry strategy into the country, setting up new legal entities, maintaining minutes and other legal documents, non-executive directorships, preparing and submitting annual returns. For additional information, contact us at email info@doggin.global, website www.doggin.global.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV welcomes you to the Courtly Hotel in New Kingston, Jamaica for the Technological Solutions Limited cocktail reception, as well as the opening of their SQF training. I am Tamar McHale. Stay tuned for the highlights.
A very, very warm welcome to you all. I am Earl Patrick,
I'm the acting board chairman of Technological Solutions Limited. And my task this evening is to guide you through this evening's proceedings. We have representatives in our audience from various countries in the region: Barbados, Suriname, Trinidad, United States, can't think of any other, but what it does, it represents who we are. A company that transcends Jamaica and tries to spread its wings throughout the region, selling quality and selling good standards for consumers around the region and the world. Before we go any further, I think what we are doing here this week is a absolutely fantastic thing with the seminar, the series of seminars we're running, to ensure that companies in the region, including Jamaica, get themselves into world quality, world standards, to ensure we can meet the stringent requirements of consumers around the world for Jamaican products.
Thank you all for coming to this important event. It's we're also celebrating, Global Standards Day, and what better way to do that at the start of a training session that we're doing this week on a global standard. So in this case, a global standard for food safety called SQF. And as a senior technical representative to them, that's my job this week. And I see a number of my participants here today. I told them they couldn't come here and boo-hoo me and tell me that I'm not a lousy trainer or anything like that. So you can't do that. Not yet. Not until at the end, because remember, I still have to mark your exams and stuff. So we're still okay. I still have that over you. No, we're good. We're good. So what we're doing this week is training people on the SQF code of food safety. What it's all about in terms of both understanding and implementing it, but most important, what it's like to learn to audit it, to become an auditor towards that. Because what SQF is a what we call a certified program owner. We are a standards owner. We don't certify, but we develop the standards which are benchmarked against the Global Food Safety Initiative, so that becomes the global part. So that's, from the food safety perspective, that's a very distinct and small world, but one that subscribes to accredited independent third-party audits that allow for the certification of products right from the gate to the plate, the farm to the fork, as they say. That allows for then buyers worldwide to be able to buy and move product globally with the assurance that from a food safety perspective, those products are safe and that they meet regulation in both the country of origin and the country of destination. And that's a very important part in terms of trade. And so SQF is very pleased to have entered into a licensing agreement with TSL, relatively new. TSL will be the first Caribbean-based licensed training center for SQF. We have over 32 that are based around the world. We are the #1 food safety management system certification standard in North America. And as such, we really see that the Caribbean and other types of markets that TSL serves as an extension of that, and obviously important to ensure that the SQF brand, the auditors, the certification bodies that are providing the audit, because we don't provide the certification. That'll be TSL's job. What we're doing this week is making sure that there is a resource pool of auditors. This is the first step for them for becoming registered SQF auditors. It's not easy. They have to have years of experience, audit experience, to be able to audit against that code, so that when the certification is given, now that certification and certificate, it's a public entity. It's on the SQF website. It'll be a certificate with the SQF brand, with the TSL brand, with the brand of the accreditation body that will be looking on oversight in TSL. And that provides assurance in the marketplace to the brand owners globally that those sites have earned it, and that on an annual basis they will have to maintain it and earn that certificate to keep that certificate, that TSL will be in charge of distributing and also pulling it and suspending, withdrawing it if those sites don't maintain it. So there's a lot of credibility around that, around accredited third-party audits that SQF participates in, which does support obviously the Global Standards Day and the use of global standards in trade and what that can do with the assurances that food safety. As consumers, we all expect that. We go to the marketplace, we go to the restaurant, we go to the retail when we're buying that product, whether it's here in the Caribbean and Jamaica or it's in North America and it's product coming from Jamaica, we're expecting that to be safe. And so this training is about learning how to audit. I'm not here to teach them about HACCP or food safety, they're supposed to already know that. Right? But I am teaching them how to interpret that, how to look for those risks and hazards, how to write a audit report that then can be shared with their buyers and a certificate that's earned and maintained, and ensuring that for that site and what they make, they understand food safety, they understand the risks and hazards, they're managing it. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, because food safety is never 100%, but they're staying up to date, they're staying current, they're learning the technologies that change, the auditors are learning that and applying that and challenge those sites to say, show me that you know what the SQF code and the good food safety practices that are expected globally are being done here so that your buyers can do that too. So very pleased to be here to continue to build that resource pool in the Caribbean, in North America, so that they can be available to TSL and their certification body to then provide that service in the Caribbean and beyond, and ensure that those products that are being exported and consumed locally are safe products. So thank you very much for your time, and a pleasure to be here for the week.
So I was looking at your profile earlier, and you have quite a wealth of experience. I understand over 30 years in the industry. Tell us about your experience. I understood that you started out at Kellogg's.
I did, yeah. So graduating in chemistry, and then got a job right directly in the food business. I don't think that was my intent, but it's where I landed. And so learning a lot with Kellogg's on food safety and quality solutions. So transitioned from there primarily into the service area of that, and primarily in the auditing, consulting, and training element. Again, servicing food and beverage industry, primarily in Canada at the time, but then going into the U.S. and down into the Caribbean, where I had first met Dr. Gordon with TSL.
Okay, great. So you are here in Jamaica, as you mentioned, in terms of what you're doing. What are some of the courses that you'll be offering?
Yeah, primarily as an SQF representative, we offer the SQF lead auditor training, and so that creates the opportunity and the resources for auditors in the region that can audit against SQF and be possibly employed or contracted by Dr. Gordon through his organization TSL Certification Services, which is now the first Caribbean-based licensed certification body for SQF.
How critical is it for companies in the manufacturing sector to be certified and have the relevant, training?
Well, it's so for the sites themselves, and at the training program, we have both individuals that are looking to be lead auditors and SQF auditors, but we also have a lot from industry that are learning about the SQF code and the importance of implementing, and more importantly, the importance of controlling their food safety aspects, because it can be, if not done properly, a big risk to their businesses, and it is sometimes a barrier of entry into other markets and foreign markets, and the U.S. being a large market for that, the SQF certification does create an opportunity for getting into those new markets.
I'm now with Lanelle Black, and she is the Quality Assurance Manager for the East Caribbean Group of Companies. Tell us a bit about your company, Ms. Black.
Well, our company is located in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We manufacture flour, feeds, rice, carbonated soft drink under the brand Juicy. We have one energy drink by the name of Village Ram, and also one bottled water under the brand of Island Sips.
Interesting name, Village Ram. How did you come up with that name?
Well, it's not me. I did not come up with the name, but because of its content, I believe it has yohimbe extract, yohimbe, honey goatweed, and some other aphrodisiac, which is known to help with, impotence and other things like that.
I'm sure that's a bestseller.
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay, so tell us how Technological Solutions Limited has helped your company.
Well, we are pursuing certification in SQF, intermediate level at this moment, and we also want to implement our HACCP principles. So we have engaged the service of Dr. Gordon, and he has been helping us along the way to gain our certification. We are about the middle of the process, so very soon we will be complete and be audited, and hopefully we'll be certified.
Okay, and how has the training so far been for you?
The training is very good. We don't have that training at home because, as Dr. God indicated, it's the first in the Caribbean. Food safety is not really a big thing at home either. There would be a few companies who have it, the certification, but not as much as we would expect. So it is very good, to be honest, very educational. The knowledge we gain here definitely would go a far way back home, because I don't think we have any SQF auditors on the island as such. So it would be a great asset to our company and to the country as a whole.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
To get the weekend work to be compliant this tax season, file and pay your final income tax return for 2018 and estimated return for 2019 due by March 15 on time and online. Get support in so many ways using our enhanced web services, Customer Care Center 888 Tax Help, Special Taxpayer Assistance Program STEP Schedule, available online at jamaicatax.gov.jm. Corporate income tax and assets tax returns must be filed online. Tax Administration Jamaica, changing the way we do business.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Audley Shaw, the indefatigable Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries and Investment, our Minister. And Dr. Andre Gordon, CFS, Chairman and CEO of TSL. Mr. Frank Scher, who I've just met, who is a Safe Quality Food Institute Senior Representative we have here today. Distinguished guests from far and wide, welcome to Jamaica. We're really glad to have you with us. And I'm really happy to be able to celebrate with you the World Standards Day with Technological Solutions Limited. I'm particularly honored to be invited to be present here today because of JAMPRO's advocacy role in establishing standards for Jamaican products, and also to celebrate TSL's role in creating a real opportunity for Jamaican products to attain market access in the most demanding markets around the world, and they absolutely have been a tower of strength in doing that. I also am here partly because of my admiration for one Dr. Andre Gordon, who I know likes to remain in the background, but has been such a tremendous advocate for quality in Jamaica and for quality standards. Without Dr. Gordon, most Jamaican products would not be in the international market today. He has done some pioneering work on getting ackee into the US market against real stiff odds at a time when ackee was considered to be a poisonous fruit that those strange people in the Caribbean eat. I know he has done tremendous work with that. So TSL really is synonymous with standards. And the fact that they have just forged this partnership with SQFI to be their licensing arm in the Caribbean, I think deserves a huge round of applause and big up to Dr. Gordon. We also welcome the staging of the 2 training sessions that you're going to be present at during this week, because I think it's really critical in terms of the increasing demands of quality standards in the international market, that all our products from the so-called developing world really attain high standards. You know, Jamaica is a producer of high-quality, world-class niche products. When you pick up a bag or a sack or a box of Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee, you know what you're getting. When you open a can of ackee, you know what you're getting. When you sample and sip and hopefully savor and not overdrink from the well of the Jamaica rum, Appleton Estate, and we now have other rival rums on the market, you know that you are getting products of true quality. And I think that's really the embodiment of what we're celebrating here today. Each year, as you know, the members of the International Electrotechnical Commission, the International Organization for Standardization, better known as ISO, and the International Telecommunications Unit celebrate today, the 14th of October, as the day in which we recognize the importance of standards in our lives. Standards are critical. As someone like me who has lived for a long time in the metropolitan markets and who has seen the havoc wrought by E. coli, listeria, salmonella, and other food viruses, foodborne viruses, we really have to be grateful to companies like TSL because they have kept us safe from some of those foodborne diseases. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention in the US estimates that each year 1 in 6 Americans, that's 48 million people, get sick from foodborne diseases, and 3,000 of them die of foodborne diseases. So I think that's just a couple of statistics to show you the importance of standards and how important it is that we all understand and apply those standards. So as a government of Jamaica's investment and export promotion agency, that's what JAMPRO is, and the leading marketing agency of Jamaica's business mandate, JAMPRO really just wants to take this opportunity to support TSL in its endeavors in developing its mandate to ensure that clients in agriculture, agro-processing, food service, hospitality, exporting, manufacturing, and distribution industries meet the demanding consumer requirements in global markets. This is absolutely critical for us to move forward. TSL has been a stalwart partner with JAMPRO in co-hosting a number of workshops on market access requirements and disseminating the understanding of quality and of quality standards that we need if we are going to really take our rightful place on the international market in the field of exports. So TSL, I would say, is a pioneer in making standards matter, and standards absolutely do matter. They're what keeps us safe. So thanks very much for listening, and have a wonderful week learning all you can about standards from Mr. Schurz.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this our cocktail reception in honor of World Standards Day and this pioneering workshop, which marks the second collaboration on a workshop that we have had with the SQF Institute. Minister, thank you so much for agreeing to be with us. Other members of the head table, Diane, thank you for your very kind words. Frank, you were brief and to the point, really appreciate it. And the Master of Ceremonies wants to make sure we can hear what the minister has to say quickly, so I won't detain you too much further. I do want to recognize some important partners that are here with us and whose presence we appreciate. I've seen Ms. Sharon May Shirley, the head of JANAC, come in. NCBJ is also represented here. Thank you. Dr. Greg Robin, who is the head of CARDI. I don't know why nobody is sitting beside Greg. Why have you sitting by yourself? Who is the head of the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute in Jamaica and also responsible for research across the Caribbean, is here. Last year we partnered quite significantly with CARDI on a coconut project. And partnerships are at the heart of what we do. So it's really warming for my heart to see so many persons from the standards sector here. We regard TSL as a family. We do have a family approach, and we want our clients as well and the persons who are attending to get that feeling. You know, it has been a great coup for us to have Mr. Schurz, or Frank as I call him, who is not just a presenter. Frank is one of the top people in SQF. He's one of the drivers of the standard. For a Canadian, he's extremely modest. I don't know how that works because I don't know too many modest Canadians.
You never see me in a corner.
But he's extremely modest. He was involved in the issue number 8.1, and is already working on issue 9 for the SQF standard that is going to be coming out. So we are really pleased to have this partnership with SQF International, both on training and as their first certification body in this part of the Americas. 2 months ago, we were also thrilled to partner with bioMérieux out of France to bring cutting-edge technology to Jamaica in the form of a polymerase chain reaction technology. And you will hear about more of these partnerships as we extend the kind of product and service offerings that we want the entire productive sector in the Caribbean to be able to access. We are committed at TSL to the making standards live for us in driving the productive sector in the Caribbean forward in being competitive in our own markets and in the global markets in which we intend to participate. You know, as part of this, one of the things we've done is document our experience with the agreement of several of our customers, and this represents another partnership. And I just advised President of JAMPRO and Minister will be making a gift to them of our first book, which captures what Diane spoke about, the whole story, the approach in which we partnered with the Bureau of Standards and several other government and private entities to get Akis back into the US market. On the next book that we have coming out, I'm pleased to say that Rick, Helen, and other team members, Rochelle, where's Rochelle, from TSL, have partnered on the writing of that book, as well as our colleagues from US, from the Food and Drug Administration, from Sweden, and many other countries. Partnerships are the heart of what we do. And over the years, we've worked quite closely with the standards sector as we mark World Standards Day to train persons in the bureaus of standards throughout the region. We were instrumental in helping many of the small bureaus of standards get set up. We've worked closely with the Bureau of Standards in Suriname, literally throughout the entire Caribbean. So we see it as an apt and fitting coincidence that this workshop is being opened on World Standards Day, as the president of JAMPRO has mentioned. You know, as some of you may be aware, TSL is in an expansion mode. And later on this year, Minister, you may be interested. Later on this year, you will hear other things. We have other partnerships, but early in the new year, TSL will avail itself of that opportunity that you, as Minister, fought so hard to retain, and that is access to the Jamaica Junior Stock Exchange. Minister, that is probably the one of the most significant contributions that they will remember Audley Shaw for as Minister of Finance. Many people do not understand how important it is for companies that have existed for a while to be able to access capital to grow.
I am Jackie Tyson, and you're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
I am Richard Panduis, CEO of Separate Group. Export has been a significant part, a key pillar in our growth agenda. We have been growing our export business through a mixture of our own brands and through co-packing for other companies. But I think exporting for anybody is critical. I mean, when you look at the policies in Jamaica, the government policy,